Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, myrenovation.net. Today we will be talking about drafting your project using drafting software. You guys hear names for drafting software like Revit, BIM, AutoCAD, SketchUp, Bluebeam, Acrobat. What are these programs? Please like, share, comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much. My guest today is Brad Humphreys. He is professional in Revit software. Brad will go through the software and explain to us how to use it. Brad has used Revit for a variety of commercial and residential projects in US and New Zealand. He is currently working for the University of Otago, New Zealand, where he uses BIM for alteration works and to help facilitate property management. Before going through the software, I would like to discuss a couple of terminologies. Recently, more architects and engineers have made the switch to building information modeling, BIM. So what is BIM? Building information modeling. The top BIM software are: number one, Autodesk Revit and BIM 360 for large companies or projects. Number two, Vectorworks Architect for architects and designers. Number three, Tekla Structure for steel and concrete fabricators, contractors, and structural engineers. Number four, Graphisoft ArchiCAD for versatile BIM solution and creating visualization features. So what is Revit then? Revit is a software created by Autodesk company used for making 3D drawing and virtual model for your projects. Using Revit BIM software will drive efficiency and accuracy across the project lifecycle, from conceptual design, visualization, and analysis to fabrication and construction. Now here's Brad, and let's start our video with Brad. Thank you, Brad, for joining us today. Thank you so much, Brad, for joining me today. And as I explained that Brad will explain to you about Revit and how to use Revit, and also he's going to explain to us about the difference between Revit and AutoCAD. Here you go, Brad. Let's go.
So the main difference between Revit and AutoCAD is like a 2D drafting program. It's sort of like what you'd have on a drawing board, whereas Revit, you actually model the building in 3D, and that's what's generating the plans. So you can take slices and cuts out of buildings and generate floor plans and different types of views from different views in the model.
And it seems like this day is like so many architects and engineers, they're switching from AutoCAD to Revit also.
Yeah, you've got to choose your battles. It's a very different weapon to AutoCAD as well. They are quite interchangeable. For instance, you can put you can link AutoCAD files into a Revit model. I think we're going to show that later.
Yeah, but also like I was working in a project. It was a 200-unit apartment building, and we did a project in Revit. So this kind of project, this larger project, it is visible to do it in Revit. But when you go into smaller project, it is very expensive to use Revit because it takes long time to start the project versus AutoCAD. AutoCAD, you just start the AutoCAD, draw a couple lines, floor plan, and it's done. So for a small renovation, AutoCAD is very easy. But for large renovation, Revit makes sense. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, what you find is the efficiencies of scale, right? So in a small project, by doing it in BIM, you could get more efficiency out of it, but you could reduce time, or you could reduce waste or replanning, or you can cut down the design phase or whatever. However, it's a small project that's going to be a lot less than, say, a huge multi-story project where those benefits are going to scale with the size of the project.
So that makes sense. So now, are you going to share the screen with us so you can show us how is Revit and how you use Revit?
Sure. Right, so you can probably start from here. So this is Revit 2020. You can actually download a trial version of this from Autodesk's website at the moment. Also, if people are interested in learning Revit, if you have an Autodesk account, you can actually go onto the Autodesk University website, and you can download some models like the ones that it ships with. These models here are ones that actually ship with the project, with the program. And there's actually a whole course on the Autodesk University website that'll take you through these projects and how to create them and how to link them together. And it's really good for first-time users. So if I just click on maybe this project here, again, this is just one that comes out of the box with Revit.
I can tell that Revit needs a very strong computer.
Yeah, again, it's ideally, yeah. There are recommended system requirements on the website, I think, but Autodesk don't tend to too keen on dictating exactly what you need. So this is, yeah, simple basic Revit project. And as you can see, it's all laid out on sheets here. All these views are generated from within the model though. So the two floor plans here, for example, this is the model in its entirety. And if I were to go to an elevation, you can see the levels here correspond to these views. So like the level 1 floor plan will be taken from the level 1, level 2 floor plan will be taken from level 2, and I could technically do a, let's say I wanted to do a roof plan, I could create a view from the highest level. And I'd have to probably change the view range because right now that's clipping through. So let's make that something nice and high, 5 meters, and we'll make that 5.2. Conversely, if I wanted to create a section, again, I could just draw a section through anywhere.
Yes, so let me explain a little bit here, like just in case if some of the people watching the video right now, they don't know what is Revit. Revit is a 3D model creator. So instead of drawing in 2D, we draw in 3D. So once you draw the model itself, you can actually create an elevation, you can cut a section, you can create a floor plan, roof plan. Am I correct, Brad?
Yep, that's true. Things, everything's kind of generated from one space, and all the views that you see on your sheet really just kind of work like cameras looking at different things. There's the section box. It's got a section box on. I wonder if it's hidden. Oh yeah, there it is. Might want to turn that off as well. So a good conceptual tool is the section box here.
Yeah.
So if I were to take a slice out of the model, let's say this height.
Yeah.
You can see right inside.
Yeah.
Now, all of these walls, which are individually modeled, you can model these up to a very high, pretty much anything in the model can be given a very high level of detail. Like, for instance, this wall knows what it's made of. You can model it right down to what kind of paint goes on it. And then you can get schedules of everything in the that you've put in the model by type. So for instance, if I wanted to make a new schedule of all the walls.
Oh yes, this is actually one of the nice things about Revit, that once you create the model, you can create a schedule versus AutoCAD, that you have to draft the schedule either by Excel or just by a table inside AutoCAD, and you have to type all of this information. In Revit, the software will create the schedule for you. Now, I'm saying the idea here, like once we created the walls and the finishes on the walls, then it will be so easy for Revit to create the schedule for us.
Yeah. I just ruined I just messed up on one of the filters. So let's say the base constraint will equal level 1. So here you can see all the walls on level 1, and it's sorted them by length. It's given you their square area, and we can put a cost if you know what a certain type of wall is going to cost roughly per linear meter, or per foot. You can put the cost in, and then you can have it calculate totals for you as well.
And that's what's nice about Revit, that you spend time in the beginning to create the model, but after that, the model and the software will produce all kind of scheduling, budgeting, cost for you. So after that will be so easy. That's why with Revit, in the beginning, it is very hard to create. It's time consuming to create this model. But if you have a big project, then it is worth it to have to use Revit software.
And you can quickly make schedules of doors, windows, furniture, fixings, fixtures, pretty much anything you want to put in the model. You've really just got to think about how much detail you want to put in your model.
And also, Brad, like if you remember, like the project we worked together on it, like you can change the doors to different doors. So then all the doors in the project will be modified.
That's right. Let me just check something real quick. So if I go select all instances of the particular type of door, so I can see all of these doors here that these single flush 800 doors. If I wanted to change those to cavity slider doors.
Yeah, it just like click, bang.
Yep. But look what it's done. It's told me right here that there's a conflict because that one's come out in the middle of a wall.
Versus AutoCAD, you have to go and you change the door and the floor plan, and you have to go and you change it on the elevations, and you have to go and change it on the sections, and you have to make sure that the section matching the elevation, matching the floor plan. With Revit, everything together. That's when it comes to the drafting, but also one of the very, very important thing of using Revit is dealing with consultant. Like when we bring electrical drawing, mechanical drawing, and combine them together with our base as an architecture drawing, then we'll be able to figure out if there is any conflict in the project. If there is any like pipe going through lighting, then we can adjust that. If there is a column going through pipe, we can modify that.
That's right. Revit's really good at telling you when things are bumping into each other. It's called clash detection.
Yes.
Another thing that's really that is keeping track of phases. So you can see in this, we have 3 phases: existing, working drawings, and learn content. So I think this is just because it's set up as a learning model. So if I were to change the phase that this view is looking at to existing, you might see that there's nothing there because nothing's been drawn yet. working drawings. If this was an as-built condition that we were going to modify, you could take your demo tool and click on things. Not going to be here in this next phase, and you can see that their outline is changing to that dashed line, which denotes that it's been destroyed and it's being demolished in this current phase. So if we go to the next phase, those items aren't there anymore because they were demolished in the previous phase. So again, it makes it really easy to do your demolition plan. You can set things to, you can set the optics of things so they will view differently if they're new creation. If it's a new created wall in this phase, it can show up as a solid, rather than a.
And I also, Brad, I want to mention something like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that with Revit, you can actually import 2D into Revit and use it, correct?
That's right. You can, so there's two ways to do it. One is that you, there's a lot of different file types that you can do. Is we're playing with point cloud at the moment where I work. So we're getting 3D point cloud scans, and you can link those into the model, bring those in quite easily. You can either link your CAD, which is a live link. So if the CAD file is updated or is changed by a consultant or by a client, all you've got to do is replace the file or update it, and the CAD file that displays in the background here will be updated. Or you can just import it and slap it straight in, so it's like a static plan, so it won't update.
Also, Revit has like a very large library with the samples, materials, and that we can actually use it.
Yep, that's true. You can also download other ones. And that's kind of the way that Autodesk is kind of handling it, is they're kind of putting the onus on manufacturers a little bit. So if I go to a manufacturer's website for this bath, for example, I should be able to find, ideally, I'd be able to find that equivalent models of all of their products in BIM for download on their website, and then I just plonk it in the model. And these tubs of these families, as they're called in Revit, it's kind of the equivalent of blocks for AutoCAD, but they're they've got, for instance, all of their materials, what they're made of, what the finish is. They've got their plumbing information, so it's a 76.2 millimeter waste connection on this particular tub. And again, you can schedule all this out. They've got links to the websites, who's actually made the model, all different types of assembly codes.
When you download all of this extra material, do you need to pay for that, or is it part of the software?
No, well, the idea is you go to the manufacturer's website, you get their BIM model, and then by putting it in the model, you're specifying their product. So if I had a company that made bathtubs, I would have all my bathtubs on my website, so people could just specify them, because it's quicker and easier to do it. I can go to the website, say, yep, that's the tub we want, plop it in, and it's already got all the information in it. So
if you don't mind, Brad, I just want to explain something to make it easy for people, and also I just want you to add your input. Can you remove the roof, please? The one you just—
the roof. You want me to hide it, or you want me to do it?
I just want you to hide it. Remove it completely so we can see the floor plan or the walls. Yeah, I just want to explain something, like the way actually as architecture project manager, we use this software. The first thing what we do is we create something, we call it the base model. This base model, it will have all the walls, and it will have the fixtures, it will have the roof, it will have the foundation. And then we take this base model and send it to our consultant. We send it to the electrical engineer, we send it to the mechanical engineer, we send it to all the vendors. Any vendor, they might put their drawing or a specification on our project, like solar vendors. So all of these vendors and all of this consultant, they work on our model. That's what we call the base model. So once they work on these models, then they send us their drawing. Then we take their drawing or we take their model and link it to our base model. So the electrical engineer will send us his or her model, and we take their model, their drawing with their information, link it to our model, which is the base model. The same thing when it comes to the landscape architect. We take his or her drawing, link it to ours. Do the same thing with the plumbing, with the mechanical, and then we link all and the structure. We link all of this model together, and then we have one model, has all the architecture, all the fixture, all the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, landscaping, everything together. Then we review this model and we see if there is any conflict. And then we'll finalize the model. And once we finalize the model, then what we do, we print the model, or we can take section, take a floor plan, cut a floor plan, produce elevations. Then we prepare our package and we submit them to the city. So the fact that we are using Revit makes our life very, very easy, because we don't have to review. Like when I used to use AutoCAD, what I used to do, I used to take the drawing from the consultant in PDF format and overlay their PDF on our PDF so you can see if there is any conflict. With Revit, you don't need to do that, because you can just look at the model and you will find out exactly if there is any conflict when it comes to mechanical, electrical, structure.
This is a project. This is just a project file that Autodesk ship with Revit, just as kind of an example. If you want to sort of showcase what the software can do, and it's a project for you to get in and play with, and make views and change things. And it's kind of just a sample project that Autodesk ship with Revit. It's part of a tutorial package that they have on their website also.
So it is really fun to work with Revit, but it's very complicated. Like, I have to tell you something, like some of the real experience with Revit, you have the person who's working with Revit has to understand the Revit software, because if this person doesn't understand, this person can go into the model and try to change something and move this door completely. And it's not like the AutoCAD. If you just take this door and move it, so the door will move and the wall will remain open, whereas the door. But with Revit, if you remove the wall will close automatically. So one of the projects I was working in, one of the person just by mistake just shifted a door, and all of a sudden, like, I found like this existing door on the outside became solid. So the client calling me and asking me, how come you're closing this door? So that's why when you use Revit, you have to be aware of what's going on, and you have to understand the software very good, because it is an interactive software versus AutoCAD. AutoCAD, it's a static, especially if you're using AutoCAD 2D. AutoCAD 2D is a static software. It doesn't, if you move this door, it will move a little bit and the wall will remain open. But with Revit, if you move it, the wall will close. If you shift this door, if you click and move it down, so the door with the opening will shift down. So
right, and it will update on every sheet. Like if I were to change this door here, every sheet in the set that shows that door will change with it. It's not like AutoCAD where you'd have to redraw it. If you change one thing, you've got to redraw it every instance that it occurs. It will update on every sheet, because your sheets are basically just views looking at that same object.
Yeah, and you can tell here, guys, on on the left side of the screen, you can tell all the command, and so it is a little bit more complicated than AutoCAD. Now Brad is going to explain to us how to link the model together. Remember, I was talking to you earlier that actually we send the base model to our consultant, and then the consultant send us their model back, and then we have to link all of this model together so we can create the final model. So that's what Brad is going to explain to us. There you go.
Hey, so you're gonna have to let me. You're gonna have to share screen. Let me share screen again.
Okay. Now I'll let you do the hard work, and then I'm going to relax. Just using my.
You need to give me access to share the screen.
Oh, I didn't do that, huh?
Yeah, that's all right. You can edit that bit out.
Okay, so I guess I became too relaxed here, huh?
Yeah. Just crop this up a wee bit. Right, so this base model would be what would, there would be our architectural model that would get sent off to consultants, and they would use our architectural model as the basis for their work. They would then send their models back absent of the architectural model, so it would only be the information that they've put into it in a separate file. So if I were actually to open that up.
What we're going to do here is Brad is going to show us how to link models together. When you have, as I said before, we have our base models, and then we receive other model from consultant. So we take their model and link it to our base model so we can see if there's any conflict, and we can create an overall project. In this exercise, Brad is going to explain to us how to link a structure model to our architecture base model. There you go, Brad.
So once the actual architectural base model is all ready to go, we would say this is what would get sent out to consultants, be they structural, mechanical, electrical, whoever. They would use this model to generate their drawings or their model and generate drawings off that. So what they might come up with is something like this, in isolation without the architectural model. This is what the structural model looks like. So what we would then do is link in, oops, where are we? Insert, link their Revit model into ours. This one. And what you can see now is you've got your structural information in the same model as your architectural, but it's still its own thing. So you can independently control what's visible, but you can't really go in and edit what they've done. So you can see they've got the piles, they've got the foundation, they've probably got all their drawings that would come through if they had any sheets or drawings in their set to add to the set, those would come through as well. You can see the structural members.
That's why, guys, it is very important for the base model to be correct. That's why, like, when we create the architecture base model, we have to make sure everything is correct, and we have to coordinate that with the client to make sure that exactly that's what they want, because once we give it to the consultant, then the consultant will use this base model for their structure calculation, mechanical calculation, electrical layout. So it is very, very important to have the base architecture model correct. There is nothing 100% correct, like as we are going through Planet Check and as a project as we progress into the project, then we do modification. But every time we do modification, we have to send the base model to our consultants so they can update their drawing based on our base model. With this half an hour of Revit conversation, you will have an idea about the software, and also you have an idea about what is Revit is about. And again, like I'm gonna summarize the whole Revit software. Revit software is a drafting software. The main reason we are using Revit software versus like AutoCAD 2D or any other 2D software, that with Revit software, all the consultant works together. It takes a little bit of time in the beginning when you create the project, but once you create the project, then it is easy because you have everything set up. You have your wall is there, you have your door is there. So once you create this project, you send the base model to consultant. Your consultant will work on your base model, and also you can keep working on your model, and it will be very easy to create a schedule, any kind of schedule you're looking for. It's also, you can create cost analysis. So it makes sense to use Revit when it comes to a large project. Again, because in the beginning of the project, Revit, it takes quite a bit of time to start to get the project going versus AutoCAD.
Once we have a Revit model, once the final model's been delivered to us by a consultant, or by, for instance, if it's a new building, we'll then use that for ongoing facilities management. So for instance, you can schedule out all of the rooms in Revit, and all the floors that they're on and what sort of finishes they have, and you can feed that directly into your facilities management software. So our Revit, our stock, we have something like 270 odd buildings in our portfolio, and probably more than that now actually. And we have Revit models for most of them.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. And last thing before we go, Brad, I know, guys, I just want to let you know that Brad actually is living in US, but actually he's from England. And I just want to know what's going on with now with the lockdown.
Yeah, they just went back into lockdown yesterday. They had a couple of cases of Delta that got out of the containment facilities. If you enter the country, you have to go into mandatory quarantine for 2 weeks. And it seems like somehow it got out. So,
I want to tell you something.
It's chaos. It's chaos. It's been chaos for the last 2 days. I can tell you that much.
No, I'm saying you guys, you are so lucky with your prime minister there. She's a really nice person.
Yeah. The response has been pretty exemplary, gotta say.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much, Brad, for being with me here today. And see you on my next video. Thanks a lot. Goodbye. Okay, that's it.
Nice.
How to subscribe to the channel. Once you click into any video, you will see this screen on your mobile phone. If you are not subscribed, then the subscribe button or the text will be in red. Once you subscribe, then the red icon will change to gray icon. So if it is in red, you are not subscribed. If it is gray, you are subscribed. Thank you so much for watching my videos, and talk to you on my next video. And goodbye.